Zhang Zining came to find teacher Chen Yu and tried to persuade him to agree to the request to demolish the wall. Chen Yu firmly believed that this wall was his bottom line, but when Zhang Zining said that Chen Yu's husband had agreed to demolish the wall, Chen Yu became furious. Unexpectedly, his husband had already agreed, and Chen Yu directly drove Zhang Zining out of the house, even asked for a refund in person. As soon as Su Manlin heard that the customer wanted to return the order, she directly relayed the matter to Gu Chuan and even hinted that Gu Chuan would fire Zhang Zining. Gu Chuan agreed to dismiss Zhang Zining, and Zhu Chengren, as an investor, resisted Gu Chuan and saved Zhang Zining face to face, promising to give Zhang Zining a second chance to save the situation. Zhang Zining returned to his work desk with a folded 5-pointed star on the table, but a little warmth still couldn't make up for the sadness in his heart. Although he got a chance, Zhang Zining was still disappointed in his heart, holding Zhou Yan and crying. When Zhou Yan heard that Zhu Chengren was so prestigious today, she couldn't help but start to change her mind about Zhu Chengren. On the other side, in Gu Chuan's home, Zhu Chengren triumphantly showed off today's acting skills. It turns out that today's scenes are all the performances of Zhu Chengren and Gu Chuan singing and playing together, just to keep Zhang Zining. Waiting for Zhu Chengren to leave, Gu Chuan thought for a long time and asked the person in charge Wang Kai for the contact information of Chen Yu. When Grandma noticed Zhang Zining's movements, she came out to comfort Zhang Zining. In her grandma's eyes, Zhang Zining was still a child who made a mistake and cried. With Grandma's warm encouragement, Zhang Zining felt that her mistake might also be reduced to a wrong question. Now all she can do is erase it and do it again. Zhang Zining revisited Chen Yu with a bouquet and gift, but she was still rejected. Gu Chuan happened to be passing by, and seeing Zhang Zining being rejected, Gu Chuan bluntly said it is better to win by design instead of empty apology. Zhang Zining's tears came out again. Gu Chuan couldn't help but hand out a paper towel. Zhang Zining recognized that the pattern of the paper towel was the same as yesterday's 5-pointed star. Only then did he discover that Gu Chuan had not blamed his thoughts, so he had to be well. Struggling to breathe, began to think of a way. Zhu Chengren bought a lot of roses to express his feelings. Zhou Yan looked funny, but this time it was an excuse. Zhu Chengren returned Zhang Zining's notebook to Zhou Yan. The two were still fighting, but this time, Zhou Yan took a rose, and Zhu Chengren looked at Zhou Yan's back, feeling that he had seen the dawn secretly. Zhang Zining came to the art museum to find some clues from the old wall itself. He happened to meet Gu Chuan. Zhang Zining thought he needed to chat with Chen Yu's husband to find the story behind the old wall. The two went down the mountain together. Gu Chuan asked carefully whether Zhang Zining would hate him for what happened at the meeting a few days ago. Zhang Zining smiled and shows that he didn't mean it at all. Although Gu Chuan still frowned on the surface, but in his heart it feels more comfortable. Zhang Zining found Chen Yu's husband, and only then learned the story behind the old wall. It turned out that Chen Yu's son died of drowning. The two built this art gallery to commemorate his son. It sounds like Zhang Zining understands Chen Yu's feelings. Thinking back to her dead parents, Zhang Zining also frankly expressed her thoughts. He also hid his parents' old things to avoid touching the scene, but this made his emotions more immersed in the past. It is better to face everything calmly, perhaps the best way to convince yourself to face reality. Originally wanting to come to understand the truth, Zhang Zining unconsciously began to persuade Chen Yu's husband to also agree to keep the old wall. Chen Yu has been standing in the living room listening to the conversation between the two. Zhang Zining's confession and opinions shocked and moved Chen Yu. He couldn't help but tear in his eyes. Su Manlin took the document to Gu Chuan for signing, secretly mentioning that Gu Chuan's attitude towards Zhang Zining was unusual. Su Manlin vaguely guessed that the quarrel between Gu Chuan and Zhu Chengren the day before was just a play to keep Zhang Zining. Although Gu Chuan readily admitted, Su Manlin still felt like an outsider. Although Gu Chuan remained silent, she also asked Su Manlin's intention to hand over this extremely difficult case to Zhang Zixuan. Su Manlin was a little agitated while talking, but Gu Chuan remained silent, and the two of them were still unhappy in the end. and scattered.